At one level, HR stands at a critical crossroads for our profession, but at another level, there is no other function that's been as challenged as HR to deal with changing business and people dynamics. The landscape of HR, consequently, people, is shifting beneath our feet, driven by forces we all feel every day. This is indeed the reality of the disrupted people organization. For too long, the phrase disruption has been used to describe technology or markets. Today, we must confront the most impactful disruption of all, the disruption of how we identify, understand, attract, lead, develop, and organize our people. We cannot expect to solve tomorrow's challenging issues of talent using yesterday's standard practices. This reality forces us to ask a fundamental question: what are indeed the expectations from a disrupted HR? The era of transactional standard HR administration, compliance driven, low people touch days are over. The expectation for HR in a disrupted world is that we must become proactive strategic architects, know more about people function. We must move away from generic service and build the essential capabilities that the organization needs right now to survive. To me, that's finding the right balance to know, understand, and work with people, their dreams, aspirations, desires, and plans more than ever before. Not just their ability, but their understanding and willingness. HR now is a learning platform and is at an inflection point where we either make a difference or technology and artificial intelligence will rule us. That difference is knowing people who know business, function, skills, and it is indeed the burning platform. Let's investigate further. This presentation series is based on the book Digital People Organization Disruptive HR, published by Dr. Ganesh Shermon of KPMG LLP and now RiverForest Connections Inc. First, we are expected to build a framework to identify high performing talent staff that can grow and contribute rapidly. We must go beyond generic high potential labels and use precise mechanisms to identify people who can deliver impact at speed. Second, the expectation is that the program should be able to churn out people who can tackle and survive in tough times. Our business needs resilience, not just compliance. We need people who possess the professional and mental fortitude to navigate volatile markets. This calls for a fundamental internal shift. Organizations must move beyond isolated competency assessments and instead use them to identify, develop, and actively deploy future ready talent. Learning gains value only when it is translated into meaningful on the job challenges, especially through ambiguous, unstructured, and uncharted roles that stretch capability and judgment. Without such application, learning becomes inert. The real leverage lies in integrating assessment with opportunity. In a disrupted HR model, development is inseparable from deployment. We do not assess to label or categorize people. We assess to accelerate their readiness, expand their capacity, and position them where they can create impact. This eventually means that a disrupted HR function is expected to move decisively beyond policy enforcement and administrative efficiency into a role that actively shapes organizational capability and business outcomes. It must anticipate skill shifts, identify emerging talent early, and rapidly align people to high impact, often ambiguous roles where learning and performance happen simultaneously. The focus shifts from programs to outcomes, building agility, resilience, and leadership depth across levels. Disrupted HR integrates data, judgment, and contextual insight to enable faster decisions, foster a culture of continuous reinvention, and ensures that development is directly tied to real work. It's not a support function on the sidelines, but a strategic driver that orchestrates talent, culture, and leadership to keep the organization competitive in an uncertain, fast evolving environment. Now let's progress towards strategic alignment and future focus. Achieving this demands that we are capable of identifying disruptive factors that are either hindering our people or can be leveraged for growth. This is not guesswork, it's a strategic imperative. We must gain deep analytical capability to see beyond the obvious. Furthermore, a disrupted HR knows that talent is not just about individuals, it's about strategic pools. The mandate includes the creation of a robust talent pool, talent technologies, which must be utilized to build future organizational capability at scale. We cannot ignore the power of data and technology in creating this agility. Crucially, identification of high potential talent should be done by the business head who has a deeper understanding and appreciation for strategic direction of the organization, and also by direct supervisors with a knowledge of how to get things done in this unknown environment. A disrupted HR knows that the function cannot own high potential talent. They cannot determine career paths and growth plans for top talent. That job is that of the line manager. It belongs to the business, meaning ownership to nurture and foster talent lies with the business. The business must have the courage and the accountability to name their own top performers. Let's now address the elephant in the room: future focus. What is our future focus? This brings us to a total transformation of the HR profession. To meet these significant expectations, HR must undergo a radical shift in perspective. We cannot operate with outdated mindsets. This entire program is built on the profound, continuous, and absolute effort of identifying disruptive factors in the people organization. We must cast a critical eye on everything we do. Critical changes are in the pipeline. AI will disrupt the way HR is structured and managed. HR behaviors in an AI knowledge context will become crucial. This includes scrutinizing policy and process. We must re examine our overall org design and structure. And we must demand total clarity towards the roles and tasks we define, insisting on radical and clear accountability at every single level. To position ourselves effectively, it helps to highlight a set of substantive forces that are actively reshaping the people function. Disruptive HR factors includes, amongst many, the rapid integration of AI and automation into decision making and workforce design, the rise of skill based rather than role based organization, and the growth expectation for hyper personalized employee expectations and experiences. Equally significant are the pressures of a multi generational and geographically dispersed workforce, the shift from static career paths to fluid project based deployments, and the demand for real time performance insights over annual cycles. Added to this are heightened expectations around purpose, inclusion, and well being, along with the need for leaders to operate in ambiguity and constant change. Together, these forces are dismantling traditional HR models and compelling a redefinition of how talent is identified, developed, deployed, and sustained for impact. The age of standard HR administration is over. The era of the disrupted people organization is here, and it demands that we lead. Let's now become the architects of this new reality.